shout out to Truth Over Everything for sending me this story, and also shout out to Seiji Hito because he was actually one of the first people I saw actually make a commentary about this video. And this video actually reminds me of the story of the black female college student who was basically poisoned by her palm-colored female roommate a couple years ago, and I don't think really anything happened to her, even though that girl could have died. So you have this young lady here by the name of Christin Evans. She's 17 years old, and she is currently a freshman in college at a Texas university, a school in Texas, where she was basically falsely accused of threatening to stab somebody on the campus by multiple females who I'm only going to assume is palm colored. And then her room, her dorm room in which she stayed at, was stormed, as you can see by the headline right there on the picture, by police while she was sleeping. Like, they had guns drawn and everything at her. And what's scary about this is, if this had happened, if she was like in an off-campus apartment that wasn't attached to the school, we might have had another Breonna Taylor on our hands. And then they would have said all kinds of disparaging things about her and saying how she was this and how she was that. She basically got taken down to the department and they questioned her. She was arrested and all types of things. But then it pretty much all came out that she was completely innocent of what she was accused of. My thing is, where are the palm-colored bitches? Yes, I call them that because that's what they are, who did this to her. Those are the ones whose face needs to be plastered everywhere. I don't know why they love to give, I mean, I know why, but I'm going to just say it for the sake of the video. I don't know why they like giving them protection. They put this girl's life in danger. And I know she was probably scared out of her mind. She probably thought this was a nightmare that was going on right here. She probably was like, what the hell is really going on? Why are cops in here with their guns drawn at me saying, you know, that I was threatening to stab somebody with a pair of scissors? Like where did that come from? And the thing is, they know who did it. They know who did it, but they're giving them protection. I think the school had released a statement basically saying, oh, we're going to do an investigation. Basically, it's not going to go really much of anywhere. They're going to give cover to the ones who did this. Nothing's going to happen to them, and they're going to go on like this never happened. The fact that we don't even know the names or the faces of them lets you know right then and there that they're not going to do anything. They're not going to do anything. I bet you the people who are involved with this are probably come from a privileged background, and you know they probably have some money tied up into the school somehow, so that nothing will happen to them. Well, since this incident did happen, thankfully, this girl has moved off of the campus, and I believe she's staying somewhere else. I don't know if she's staying with family or if maybe she got an apartment that's by herself. That's the only thing about being on these college campuses, especially your freshman year. You never know who you're going to be a roommate with. You don't know what these individuals are like. You don't know what their background is or what their intentions are. Luckily for me, when I was in school in my freshman year, me and my roommate, even though we were complete strangers at the time, we became cool rather quickly, to the point where we were roommates for our freshman and our sophomore year. But you know, it's just like, it's just crazy how all this stuff is. And I believe she goes to a predominantly white institution, or PWI, just like the other girl went to a PWI. I'm telling you, this had to be a jealousy thing. Seiji has said it in his video, and I'm gonna say it here. This had to be a jealousy thing. Like, they had to be jealous of this girl. The fact that she's 17 and is already in college. I don't know if it's because she has a late birthday, like maybe her birthday falls at the end of the year or what have you. But the fact of the matter is, these little bitches could have got this girl killed. They could have gotten her killed. Luckily, they were able to figure out that she was completely innocent of what she was being accused of. Like, this has to probably be one of the most traumatizing things for her to ever have to deal with in her life so far, and she's so young. She got her wake-up call very, very young. You just got to be careful with who you trust. And these are probably girls that came around and pretended to be her friend. She probably thought, oh, you know, I'm kind of adjusting here. She probably told her family, look, I've made friends with these girls over here. And what happened? Those same girls that she thought were her friend turned out to be her enemy and betrayed her and treated her like trash. And now, you know, she has to go back and tell her family the same people that she thought was her friend were not her friend. And they could have gotten her shot up. She could have died. I think that's like the whole scary part about this. Thankfully, she's still alive and she's able to tell her story. But it could have completely went left field if those cops were trigger happy. And then, like I said, they came into her room and raided her room at 3 a.m. According to the article, they came in at 3 o'clock in the morning when she's sleeping. That's why I said it reminds me so much of Breonna Taylor. The only difference is this was on a college campus. And on top of that, she wasn't there with another guy that had a gun that could have shot back. Luckily, it didn't lead to that. But like I said, what's scary to me is the fact that had she not been in a dorm on that campus, they probably would have fired on her. The only thing I think that held them back from shooting is the fact that she was in a dorm with other people there. And it would not have looked good if they had fired off on her because of the risk of shooting into other rooms. However, look at what they tried to do with Breonna Taylor with that wanton endangerment bullshit. They fired off at her, and what does Brett Hankerson get charged with? Wanton endangerment because he shot into the neighbor's the wall that could have affected the neighbors living next door, who we found out happened to be Caucasian. But if I was her, they need to find out who these students are, and they need to sue them. And I mean sue them hard. And also go after the department. Because I don't know if they call campus security or if they actually called a department. Because they keep saying that police raided. They didn't say if this was campus security. So I'm assuming that this was actual a police department that they actually called, like they picked up the phone and called 911. They didn't call campus security. Yeah, but they strategically set that up. And their charges should be something I can't think of the word right now. I'm heated with this story. This should be attempted first degree murder. Attempted murder in the first degree. Because they strategically planned this. They came together and said, look, we're going to set her up. We're going to say that she was planning on stabbing people with scissors and stuff like that. And we're going to call 911 and say that this is her in her room and this is her name. They planned this. They planned to have this girl be terrorized and traumatized. And unfortunately for her and fortunately for them, they were successful. But they weren't successful in the fact that she wasn't harmed physically. She was harmed mentally, for sure, because she didn't know what was going on. And I bet you, when they question them, they're going to say, well, it was just a prank. It was just a little harmless joke. Everything, when it comes to our lives, is somehow a joke to them. Palm color, you want to know what's funny to me? Every time I see your ass passed out from an opioid addiction. That's funny to me.